Now, when we look at disability in relationship to gender, we see that out of that total 13% of students who receive services through IDEA with an identified disability, this chart specifically is showing you grades kindergarten through third, so it's not representing all grade levels. But across all grade levels, we do see that boys are more often identified than girls with disabilities. Specifically, where we're seeing very vast discrepancies is in emotional disturbance. We see about 80% of the students who are identified with an emotional disturbance are boys. We also see that strong discrepancy in autism spectrum disorder. About 80% of the students with ASD are boys. But we're also seeing some of those big gaps in specific learning disability and speech impairments as well. So with the other disabilities, we almost see about 50-50, but specifically we're seeing those large gaps in emotional disturbance and autism spectrum disorder, followed by learning disability and speech impairment. And so a lot of research has been done to try to pinpoint why are boys more likely to be identified in those areas than girls. And there's a couple of thoughts with that. One is we know that teachers have to be part of that identification process. So more often they're going to be the ones who are seeing behaviors at school and saying, maybe this child has emotional disturbance or ASD or ADD, ADHD, LD. And one of the reasons that they may identify more males than females is because boys, when they get frustrated, they tend to act out. Where girls, when they are frustrated, they tend to internalize and just try to push through and work harder. So teachers may not see those symptoms as readily as they see them in males. Certainly we see that's why they're more likely to be identified with ADD or ADHD, because boys tend to act out more than girls do in the educational environment. We also know that the educational environment is not always conducive to the way boys learn. Boys like to learn through movement. They like the spatial awareness, getting up, moving around. They learn through that. But sometimes teachers just don't recognize that movement as their need to be able to learn in that way, but they see it as acting out behavior and therefore refer more boys for ADD than they would girls. The other thing we see with ASD that might play a factor, and researchers are looking into this, is a genetic factor, something with the Fragile X syndrome. So looking at that XY chromosome, something within that X chromosome may be a factor in why we're seeing more boys identified with ASD than girls.